Hi, friend. We are continuing question number 3. What kind of work inspires me? By now, you should have completed the first half of this worksheet, the left side. You have thought about what kinds of activities do you partake in that really breathe life into you and feed your soul. And then you considered the people that you know or know of who are doing work that inspires you. So now we are moving on to talk more about how life-giving, inspiring work might turn into a job. And so if you look on this page, the right side of this page distinguishes between work and a job, because not all work is paid. Right? Your parents don't get paid for doing the work of parenting you. You don't get paid for doing the work of being a student. You don't get paid when you assist your Sunday school teachers in a classroom at church. You don't get paid when you help out a neighbor in need. There are many things we do that are work that aren't jobs, okay? So here, I just wanted to broaden your perspective of work by listing some of the kinds of work that are done for other reasons other than to get paid. And so I already said parenting is one of those examples of work. Volunteer positions. My family likes to help out with a homeless ministry, and we're out there from like 8 a.m. till like 2 p.m. once a month. And, we're hauling goods. We're out there feeding the meals. We're cleaning up, setting up. I mean, it's work, but it's voluntary, and we do it not to get paid, but we do it out of joy, right? It makes us feel good to give back and to meet some of the needs that these people have, whether it's giving them a meal or monitoring their shower times or just sitting down and having a conversation with them. So those are volunteer positions. That's also an example of charity work, right? If you volunteer to serve at a nonprofit, these are all voluntary charity positions. At school, there's the room moms who are doing the work of planning classroom parties and, Teachers Appreciation Week, and they don't get paid. It's a voluntary position done for other reasons other than pay. There is the work of receiving counseling and therapy if you are a client. So that's called, inner work. That's that personal work that we and many of us go to when we are in a more vulnerable season of life where we need that extra support from a counselor or a therapist. And though the therapist or the counselor, they may get paid because that is their profession, you doing the work on yourself, right? You being reflective, you answering their questions, you putting in that emotional work is legitimate work. That's not a job. Personal growth and self-leadership development. That's what this is. You are here to grow in your personal leadership, in your self-leadership. You're here to develop yourself and to have some personal growth in terms of discovering your purpose, your plan, your mission in life, who you want to be. All right. So this is all work. Nobody's paying you to be here, I don't think. And then hobbies. Our hobbies require effort. They require time. They require energy. They could require work. Have you ever built a remote control car? Have you ever put together a project just for fun, but it was actually quite taxing on your brain and body? My kids have done so many science projects with their science teacher when we were homeschooling, and it was a lot of work, right? But they were hobbies. They were done for other reasons other than to make money, to get paid. So I just want you to realize that when we talk about work, we must distinguish all the different kinds of work from the kinds of work that end up in compensation, paid compensation. Okay. So I just want to broaden your perspective when we're talking about work. Now, I would like to bring your attention to the bottom of this page before we talk about a biblical philosophy and framework for how to view our work. All right. And that's a huge topic because some of you may be wondering, if I am a committed Christian who loves God and wants to follow him all my life and wants to sincerely glorify him with my life? Don't I have to do some kind of Christian work? Don't I have to go into ministry? Do I need to be a pastor? Do I need to be a missionary in order to glorify God with my work? And that's a question I had. I remember standing in a bookstore, a Christian bookstore. I think I was a 10th grader maybe. And I was pretty involved in my church Bible studies, my youth group, small groups. And I was wondering if I needed to go into ministry and if I should be working in that direction, because I was really getting serious about my faith. So that is a question that we will tackle. And I think that this will help you to understand what makes the work or the job or the profession of a Christian different from the work and the job and the profession of a non-believer. Okay. And if you want a clue, it's up here in this little graphic. It says that the difference between a believer and an unbeliever's work is not so much in what they do as it is in how they do it and why they do it. Okay, so essentially a believer and an unbeliever have different motives, different purposes, different reasons for not necessarily what they're doing, because you might have a Christian and a non-Christian engineer. You might have a non-Christian and a Christian doctor. You might have a Christian and non-Christian lawyer, business person, baker, photographer, whatever kind of work. It doesn't matter so much what the work is. What distinguishes a Christian and a non-Christian in their work is how they work. Are they doing their work with excellence? Is their work a good reflection of God and his excellence? Or is it shoddy work that doesn't make for a good witness as a Christian? And why they do the work, right? So is it to glorify themselves? Is it to build a name for themselves, a reputation for themselves? Or is it to glorify God, to build a reputation for him and to make a name for him? Okay, so I'm going to leave it there and come back to that when we hit the next page in this section. But for now, let's jump to the bottom of this page, which asks you now to not just consider people that you know, but companies and organizations that you know that are doing inspiring work. So if you're struggling to find people that you know who are doing work that you are inspired by, that you respect, that you admire, then here's another exercise that might help you out. Okay. So instead of thinking about people, think about companies, think about organizations. Okay. So I'll give you a couple examples of organizations that really inspire me. And these are videos that I actually showed during my leadership mastermind sessions with teens. One video I showed was of a organization called Samaritan's Purse. And you might be familiar with Samaritan's Purse if you have participated or know about Operation Christmas Child. Operation Christmas Child is the Christmas project arm of Samaritan's Purse. But Samaritan's Purse actually does a lot more than just Operation Christmas Child. They are a emergency relief organization. So when there's a natural disaster, a hurricane, a flood, an earthquake, they will send help to those affected areas and provide the food, the water, the medical attention, the housing, shelter, all that. Okay. And Samaritan's Purse, I think, is an awesome organization that is doing amazing work for the world in the name of Jesus. And they are not a church, but they are a Christian organization that believes in meeting physical needs of people, like Christmas gifts for kids who don't get Christmas gifts. And so these shoe boxes mean the world to these kids. But that is their entry point to introduce the recipients of the help that they offer, the shoe boxes they give, to introduce them to the gospel, which is the true gift that Samaritan's Purse is giving. Right? Some other organizations or companies that are doing work that make you say, I want to be a part of that, might be another organization that I know of is World Vision. World Vision is another Christian organization, nonprofit, that is really dedicated to, again, world disaster relief, but I participated in this real neat program back when I was in high school called the 30-Hour Famine. And I know that they still offer this. I spoke to a representative the other day from World Vision and confirmed that they still offer this opportunity to learn about world hunger. And when I found out about this program that World Vision was doing, what you do is you fast for 30 hours and you raise money from friends, family, church members, and you get them to either pay you per hour that you're fasting or pay you a flat donation to fast all 30 hours. And all the money you raise goes to feed hungry people all over the world. And you, as a participant of this 30-hour famine, get to experience real hunger because you probably know that we don't get to experience hunger very often, like real deep hunger, right? We may miss a meal, we may miss 2 meals, but in 30 hours, there's multiple meals that you're missing. And I coordinated this program, you can call, for my youth group at church. And we turned it into a sleepover, turned it into an educational time, got our parents to cook us a breaking the fast meal at the end of those 30 hours. And we brought in a speaker and had a really good experience. And so World Vision continues to make a difference all over the world. And they're creating these programs that allow teens and kids and students to get involved, to understand world hunger. Now there's a 6K, a global 6K, where you carry a gallon of water as you run or walk 6K. And that simulates the people who live in places where they have to hike to the river, get the water they need. It's not even clean water most of the time, and then lug it back to their people, their village, wherever they live. Okay, so anyway, I could go on forever about Samaritan's Purse and World Vision because I so respect the work that they do, and it makes me say I want to be a part of that, and I have been a part of that. All right. So how about you? What are some companies that are doing work that you really admire? Okay, it doesn't have to be charitable work. It doesn't have to be a nonprofit. You could say, I think Apple is the greatest company in the world because they not only meet technical needs of people, they've made our lives more efficient, more enjoyable, but they also design beautiful products. And I just like their whole culture and their whole message of, functional, beautiful technology. You might think Amazon is the greatest company in the world because they make my life easier. They really do make my life easier. And you might say, that the work of Amazon really inspires me. You might think Tesla is a very inspiring company because they have broken new ground in the automotive industry, right? And so you should feel free to answer this question with more than just charity nonprofit organizations that are obviously doing humanitarian work. All right. So take a moment and answer that question. And then we will move on to the second question, which is what kinds of personal transformations make you feel warm and bright inside and cause you to think that's awesome. That's the best experience that this life has to offer.